Li- Listen. Yeah. Yes, dog. Get that out of here. That's so funny. That was all my fault, by the way. I don't know why I double tapped it as it was like listen, trying to bring it on in. But hey, what's up? It's your boy Matty Rants. Thank you for tuning in on this good Sunday. It's a live review of Chucky season 3, episode 1. Murder 1600. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. We are going to walk through this episode as well as sort of give a run through real quick of what had happened prior to getting here. But it was a very interesting episode. I'm sad to know that we're only getting 4 episodes this season because of the writer's strike. I know that one portion of that ended with the writer's strike. Or at least they came to some sort of agreement. But at the same time, a lot of shows they haven't started back up just yet, or they're planning to. And I know a lot of shows we're looking forward to this fall are actually going to be cut in half, and we're probably not going to get them until later on in the spring. So we got 4 episodes to talk about, but we'll start with the first, of course, which aired. It is for free on YouTube right now. But if you have Peacock, it's available to view there. If you so happen to have Sci-Fi or USA for your networks, you can also watch this episode. But it is for free now, currently on YouTube. So I would check it out. But let's get my social medias out the way first, and let's go ahead and get this started today. It's going to be a light review. I know I was going to do an edited one, but I wanted to talk to y'all live about this episode. I have a lot to say, and I said, oh, it's going to be a very large, compacted video if I do that, so I might as well do a live. And also say hi, happy Sunday. I miss y'all. So at Matty Rants everywhere except for X, which is the Matty Rants. You can find that in the Linktree link in the description down below. Just click that sucker and take it where you need to go. Also, I do reactions on Patreon. I actually reacted to this episode. Check it out on Patreon for as low as $1 a month, along with a lot of other shows too. Multiple shows. I think I'm covering 6 right now. It's about to be 5. Starting this week, but check it out for as low as $1. Also bookable on Cameo, and I have merch available at dragqueenmerch.com. All those links are available in the description down below. No disclaimer necessary. We're talking about a TV show today, but just understand that this is rated for TVMA, so any pictures that may appear graphic will be censored or tinted a little bit differently. The color tone will be lower down. But I am excited to talk about this with you today. If you want to drop a tip in my jar for your boy hosting a good show today and keeping you entertained, you have this available with, of course, PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. PayPal.me/MattyRants, Cash App /MattyRants, Venmo, MattyRants. Let's go ahead and get into the Chucky universe. Okay. I'm over here like, child, where do I begin? We went from Hackensack, the original place of Chucky's origins, to then a boarding school for bad kids, but not the one that's for really bad kids. That got really explosive. And now we're in the White House. So if anybody isn't familiar with the Child's Play series, it is about a serial killer who is caught in a toy store and in his last moments of living decides to transfer his soul into a good guy doll. That good guy doll is then found its way into the streets as one single mother is trying to make her son, Andy Barkley, happy by getting him this doll that he wants, but it's very expensive. So she finds a doll in the streets. She ends up getting the doll to Andy, not knowing that that's the same doll that Charles Lee Ray possessed via voodoo. Okay, so we've got magic involved here. One thing leads to another. Chucky goes on a killing spree, finds out that the longer he stays in the body, he becomes more human, so becomes less a doll and basically unkillable. indestructible. And he ends up being more human and they can actually get him. So the idea is for him to pass his soul into the first person that he tells a secret to, which is a child normally for him, which if he does do this successfully, then he can get a little bit more powerful. And we have seen him now break his soul into multiple dolls as well into people before too. So Chucky is quite powerful in the entity or the world of original killers. I like to say like the Michael Voorhees, excuse me, Voorhees. I'm mixing people. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, all of that kind of stuff. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the classics. Chucky is a part of that, echelon, that good group. And to me, he's currently my favorite classic killer. So, with that being said, there are sequels that happen. Andy going to a different home because his mom can't take care of him because they've, basically made her look crazy because again, you're explaining to people that a doll, took out all these folks. They're going to lock you up to where Chucky goes and finds them there. And we end up meeting Kyle, who is his uh, sister via the adopted family, but after the adopted family was taken out, Kyle is, of course, just a sister in general. That's another story. Then for the third one, you already know it's the military one. Andy's a little bit older. He's in this military camp, the school or whatever, and Chucky finds his way there. He ends up meeting this other kid and trying to get revenge on Andy while still taking the possession of this other child, to which Chucky is chopped up in a fan, one of the most amazing deaths we've ever seen. Okay. Really, I hated that movie because there were just so many like corny moments in it. It's not one of my favorite of the Child's Play series, but that death at the end, the slow motion, the different camera shots of him hitting the fan and it exploding, that was a lot. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Now, after that, you would think that Chucky is over because that's the trilogy 1, 2, 3. Andy survives, moves on with his life, whatever, right? Not at all. There's Bride of Chucky. That was when Tiffany Valentine was put into the picture, which we find out is Chucky's former lover, also serial killer along with him. They used to do these things together. That's how this began. She finds pieces of his body that were torn up in the fan in a locker room, which also has other memorabilia from people who I just named, like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, this, that, and the other. It was a nod to all of that. We appreciate it. And she ends up resurrecting him again, which he is an ass and she's not really feeling that and tries to take control of the situation, which ends up getting her killed, but not before they transfer her into a doll that she purchased to mock Chucky with. And she ends up becoming Tiffany the killer doll along with Chucky the killer doll. Katherine Heigl Laters, if you remember, I think Jason Ritter was also in that movie. Wow, there were a lot of people in that one. That was one of my favorite Chucky movies because it was pure camp. You could definitely tell it was meant to be comedy and it was not to be taken too seriously. But after all of that happened in the Tiffany and the Chucky fight, and one of the most iconic moments I think in horror movie history was Chucky and Tiffany fighting in the what was that, a RV or Winnebago RV, right? And they were fighting over meatballs and washing dishes. Oh, that was good stuff. Good stuff. Tiffany's like burned to a crisp in the oven and then comes out screaming, biting Katherine Heigl. Oh, it was good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, lots of funny moments in that one. But that also leads us to Seed of Chucky, which at the end of Bride of Chucky, they have a baby who is non-binary. And I love this because the creator of the Child's Play series is a part of our LGBTQI plus community. And they made a non-binary doll that has two souls in it, Glenn and Glenda, because it's switched in and out of personalities. One was more feminine, one was more masculine, but still sort of the same, didn't read otherwise. Which at the end of that movie, they then put the doll's two souls into twins that Jennifer Tilly had because it got really meta because Jennifer Tilly does the voice of Tiffany Valentine. Yes, it got real meta. Method Man was in that movie. That one girl from S Club 7 was in there. She got burned alive, by the way, by Glenda. Was it Glenn? It was Glenda. Yeah. But Jennifer Tilly switches places with Tiffany Valentine, but Jennifer Tilly plays Tiffany Valentine. But now Tiffany Valentine is in Jennifer Tilly's body, and Jennifer Tilly is in the doll. But we really never got confirmation of that until the TV series season 2. This is all true. It's insane, right? Whew. The doll that was Glen Glenda is now into the twins. Of course, they don't know what's going on, but there's little twitches here and there. They'll figure things out because Chucky is dead at this point because Glenda killed him, right? All right, continuing. Follow along with me. Then we have, I think, what was it, Curse? Yes. Curse of Chucky first before Cult of Chucky. That was when the doll got really ugly. I don't know what they were doing with the new aesthetic, but it wasn't cute when it was sitting still. We all loved the original doll because it looks so close to a My Buddy doll. But we enter Nika into the situation, and she is paralyzed. We find out that when her mother was pregnant with her, Charles Lee Ray stabbed her mother while she was pregnant, causing Nika to be paralyzed from the waist down. Who then Chucky finds his way into this house with Nika and her weird family situation in this home that's dirty and old and gross, where Chucky kills everybody, tries to take over Nika's. Yes, there we go. Come on, Matt, bring it in. Tries to take Nika's soul, wasn't successful in this, but ends up getting the, I think, cousin or niece. Yes, the niece that she had, the niece, and ends up possessing her. And now Chucky's in this girl's body and was like doing the most. We later find out that like the girl got caught and Chucky had to pass his soul into something else to like get back to Nika again, who's now in a mental asylum over the situation that happened because she was blamed for killing the family. That gets us into Cult of Chucky. Here we go. Cult of Chucky is very interesting because Curse was like, oh, I don't know, but Cult, even though they kept the same ugly doll, I was like, oh my God, this one was kind of crazy. It was a good movie. I would recommend it. There was a really weird scene with breastfeeding. I don't recommend watching if you are squeamish. That was gross. One of the grossest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Ugh. But Chucky finally does possess Nika. Tiffany picks up Nika, and then this leads us into the actual TV series that we're currently in right now. I've given you like a very brief, but also quite winded and low key, about 2 libations up summary of what happened with us getting to this show, which brings us to R3. Because now this has turned into a whole other kind of show when it comes to Chucky. But at the same time, it is all canon, which I love. That Dawn made a lot of things canon that we didn't think were going to be. Because, like, are they restarting the series? Are they keeping this within the same format? No. Andy Barkley's still involved. Kyle is still involved. A lot of the originals that we get to see here, right? So, Devin, Jake, Lexi. Okay. Devin likes no. Jake likes Devin, but Devin doesn't know. Then Devin actually already did like Jake, but didn't know. But they thought they were weird. Lexi was a bitch. She ends up being cool. Lexi's boyfriend's an ass. He ends up having Chucky influence him, becomes a murderer. He ends up getting killed as well. It's like, what? And then Chucky's like dead, but he's not dead. And then we get to the second season because all the kids' parents have died because Chucky has killed them, which is really crazy. They all end up at some boarding school for season 2 where they meet one of my favorite characters, Nadine, which I was really like, what the hell? Why did they kill Nadine? That's still one of the dumbest deaths I've ever had to witness in any situation. Why kill Nadine? Nadine was something special. I didn't like that. In the way they got her too with Good Chucky. Oh, this baby, season 2. Hold on. Just so y'all know, I want y'all to know this right now. My cat is literally sitting in my chair, and I am having to sit at the edge of my chair because Mamu will not move at all right now. And I want to pick him up, but he literally sat here and waited for me to get up to get in my seat. And he is now curled up like a little ball. Excuse you. Yes. Can I get a little bit of the chair? A little bit? Thank you. Thank you. I just want a little bit. I have a big butt. This is not fair. Hi, Boops. Hi, Boops. Hi. I know. Thank you for letting me have a little bit of the chair. I was over here about to like really go through it. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. God. Yeah, Nadine deserved a lot better, y'all. I really didn't care for how they took out her character, but there were a lot of amazing deaths. Even though I will say season 2 was very campy, I kind of enjoyed the campness of it because it just went into some sort of, okay, Chucky's getting exercise now in the church, and then he vomits over the pastor. The pastor then becomes possessed by him and then blows up. And then you find out that the uh, psychiatrist was the one that was also Charles Lee Ray's psychiatrist. And this person has been basically influencing him to do these murders for all these years. And it's a lot to take in. And then once they kill everyone, which you think they killed the Chucky and all that kind of jazz, they do this sort of like Love Actually or Christmas sort of moment where, everybody's together at Lexi's house and, her and her mom are starting to become cool, even though her sister is still a little off. And then you find out that Chucky is there and ends up killing Lexi's mother, who that was the last parent left from the first season. Now all the parents are gone. All of them are gone. The crazy nun who is in this season, she plays Devon Sawa's wife, the president's wife. I was gagged. But yeah, after all that happened and they supposedly killed that Chucky, apparently there was still another one that was left with Lexi's sister, who Tiffany Valentine kidnapped, who then another Chucky gets involved with. And of course, Tiffany gets arrested, of course, blamed for being Jennifer Tilly, murdering these other people who was really Tiffany. It's a lot. Mamu, let go of my arm. Let go of my arm, cat. Let go. Love you. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. So let's do this. All of that being said, let's go ahead and get into this first episode and talk about it today because I just needed to break that down. See, this is why I couldn't have done the editor review. Now, the episode starts off with a scene in a bedroom where a child is nervous over a storm that's happening outside. And of course, Mom, please come and get me. She's helping him tuck in. And we finally see the Chucky doll, except his name is Joseph. Now, I don't know who Joseph is, and I'm assuming two things. I have two theories. I'm assuming he's either one of the people who allegedly died in the White House that is possessing the doll to make it a coincidence, or it's something to do with this family that has not been completely addressed just yet, because there is a moment where they briefly acknowledge, isn't it strange that that's his name? But I swear I watched this episode 3 times. I was like, they don't really break this down. So who is it? I hope we find out within the 4 episodes that are going to be released. But as she's tucking them in, of course, it's a setup for real. The doll's talking to him, we'll be all right. We're going to make it through. Ha ha ha. All that jazz. We see the face transition into this smug look. What I love it, love it, love it when they do the puppeteer work with Chucky and it's not CGI like that one abysmal Child's Play remake that they tried to make happen with Aubrey Plaza. That was a terrible. It was a really bad movie. That's what I was thinking, Chi. I can't highlight that because as a word that YouTube does not care for. But I think it does have something to do with the brother. And I think that's one of the reasons why the brother is so currently closed off from everybody else. Was it a twin? Was it something different? Mind you, there's a reporter who's really, really nosy that's trying to get into the family's business and says that there were things that they're not being open and honest about, like their platform is as a president. So I'm like, it's interesting where this is going. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of drama within the family that we're going to be sort of like unraveling with what's happening to Chucky as he's terrorizing the White House. But Chucky's sitting pretty, and that smug face is really telling you something because he's like, bitch, I'm in the place of all places where I could just do whatever I want and get away with it. And I have a lot at my disposal. Oh, mind you, the new president is an independent, and I love how they sold this as this is the first independent president that ever won. But the lights go out in the White House, and everyone's scrambling because that never happens, or at least it shouldn't, where the doll Joseph goes missing while they're trying to go underground for safety. It's just precautions, they say. Now, Joseph is found in the hallway, but in the bathroom is Henry's brother. Henry's the child. I forgot to say, my apologies. Smoking a doob. How dare you do that in the White House? What's wrong with you? You're trying to get me fired. We'll later find out this guy is really just a nice guy looking out for him while he's making bad decisions. While they are going down under the bunker, of course, Joseph gets back into Henry's hand. Henry is adorable, but I'm also nervous that they're going to do something horrible to Henry because the second season they literally started out the first episode with killing the child off for some odd reason. The little boy that was, I want to be Robin. Boom. That was a lot. I did not care for I'm sorry. As much as I'm a fan of the series, I was like, oh no, I didn't like that. But Chucky gets away with cutting one of the guards that was there with them and blaming it on the dog. And I think it was a test in this moment in the elevator when the power went out to see how far he could get away with something or if somebody would start to figure things out, just to sort of play with it a little bit. Uh, Maybe it was for another reason, but I'm assuming that was why in that moment he chose to slice the security guard at that time. Now, this I found to be funny and also very, on the what's happening right now in this moment with how they wrote this character development for both Jake, Devin, and Lexi, because they're all basically on the internet in some sort of way, either asking questions about what's going on in Hackensack, trying to find something to do with Chucky, or looking for Lexi's sister who is currently missing. And Lexi's using TikTok thirst traps, which that scene, mm-mm. No, thank you. I'm like, what? This is why I'm not on TikTok now. 'Cause that I can't get into that. It's so annoying. And they're like, come here, look at me. I'm like, no, chop. But she's trying to use the platform to find her sister. Jake has been going to the gym, and I was not prepared for his power top phase with Devin, which was interesting. I thought, oh, the dynamics, this is a lot to take in. But Devin giving sub boyfriend to Jake. I was like, this is a lot. Because when they were kissing, and I'm not going to show that scene because I don't know how YouTube operates like that, right? But like when they were all cuddled up in the bed, baby, I said, oh, wait a minute. Not Devin giving, wait, Jake. I said, oh, now they're not doing all this. I said, well, this program is too much. These are children. Fast forward, not for me. No, thank you. But I thought that was really, I just thought that was so funny. I said, oh, I said, not we're switching this up. I'm used to them trying to paint it the other way. That was crazy. I said, that let me feel like Jake is going to be playing a role soon in some sort of movie or picture where he's required to look that way. Or Don Mancini was like, you need to work out a little bit because we want you to feel like he had to work out or get stronger. So that way, if Chucky comes back, he can be fully physically prepared for any challenges that take place. So I feel like there's multiple reasons for that off camera and as well for the show, how that works out in the same sense. So yeah. I mean, that was all of us in high school. So I was Devin in high school. Thank you. I did have my podcast together, but I was the editor of the literary magazine while I was dating this football player. But yeah, that's another story for another day. Moving forward and moving on. So, press secretary, excuse me, is talking about the power outage that takes place, and we get a glimpse into somebody who's going to be prodding and poking into the family's business with a reporter who seems to feel like the family's, like I said before, open policy is bullshit. Now, we moving into the next day with the family talking about the events that took place, as well as his son, who is a pothead being a complete ass nugget to his dad, which I don't understand. Once again, just for reminders, Devin Sawa basically is in every season, but he plays a different character. He was Devin's dad, homophobic father, excuse me. You must add that in the first season. In the second season, in the second season, he was Father Bryce. Bruce, Father Bruce. Yeah, there we go. Was it Bryce? It's Bruce. Had to be. I feel like he would have wrote Bruce. Passed. He exploded in the second one. And he also was electrocuted in the first season via Chucky's vomit. So I wonder what's going to happen to him this season because every season they've done something to him, and that's where my mind is at. I also feel like the mother is too because she was in the second season as the crazy nun who found herself worshiping Buff Chucky because there were multiple Chuckies, good Chucky, Buff Chucky, the Colonel. Lots of good stuff. I enjoyed that season. I don't care what anybody says. It was crazy. I rewatched it like last week and I said, oh, this was actually good. It was camp. But she played that nun. So I'm assuming Dawn Mancini, who is keeping these people on file, will also give them amazing death sequences. Now, if your child was reading a book about dead people at the house that you are staying in at your table, how would you operate and act? Because the mother to me was a little bit like not fully invest. I don't know. Something about this feels strange, and I think this does have something to do with a child that they had before that may have passed away, or something else to do with that name Joseph. Because I don't know what it is. Like him talking about all this morbid stuff and them not reacting quickly. I found to be really strange when this was. I was like, what? Why does it seem like nobody is invested? I mean, we'll see later, but I just was like, they're letting him do a little too much for me. The vice president is a problem. Let's just go ahead and say it now. The vice president is going to be a problem. He clearly is on the opposition, fully opposite of the president right now. I also feel like he's talking to that reporter and leaking information because he wants the president to be impeached and then he can just take over. I have this feeling that is his main goal here. So I do not trust him at all. Because they're trying to, like, what are we supposed to do about the electric power situation? The president's like, we'll just be honest about what took place. We don't know. And he's like, you don't tell America that you don't know what happened. What the hell does that mean? It's a lot. Chi was to, I see the vice president being taken over by Chucky. Possibilities. I wouldn't be surprised. Because remember, Chucky has a way of getting into people quickly if he wants to. And he is very persuasive, as well as also getting the folks that are not believers of magic and talking dolls very quickly can handle a situation if he wanted to. We are shown this letter opener that resembles a sword, and I already knew this would be used later, but not in the way I thought. Again, I love the practical effects when the doll simply just blinks and then just rotates its eyes and you can hear it click, click. It's creepy. And that's what adds to the eeriness of the show while they're balancing the campy moments that happen that are a little bit silly. It's these little small moments. And I love how this looks versus, not to rag on Megan, but I wasn't a fan of the movie. She wasn't scary. There wasn't anything really creepy about it. It's like, okay, it's a robotic doll. Like, that's fine. I'm like, this is actually some serial killer inside of the doll operating under this guise as a doll killing people. That's a little bit more spooky to me than some AI going into, well, technically I should kill you because technically this this doesn't work for me. Also, excuse me, it was the disgruntled worker who was like, if this doll, I'm gonna mess it up and make it a killer. Whatever the case may be for how they did the remake as well. I just didn't really care for that, but I like this. This is interesting. This is also a lot more fun, and no shade to Annabelle, but Annabelle is a conduit. Like there's a demon holding on to the doll that uses that as a way to get to people. And again, this is somebody inside of it that can just take over your body and leave you in the doll and then burn you alive and use your body to do what he wants to do. That's scary. Like that's scary. Okay. But Chucky goes through the president's desk. What? I mean, the president wouldn't know that there's some person inside the doll, but after the president, Devin Sawa, I should just say Devin Sawa all the time. President Devin Sawa. Shout out to Devin Sawa. I've been watching you for years. There was a movie a long time ago I saw. I can't remember the third actor, but that it was with Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Devin Sawa, and it was somebody else. And I think it was called Wild or Into the Wild, something like that. I was obsessed with that movie. As a young gay, I was obsessed. That was when Bop was something. I was upset with that. But no, back to the movie. I'm sorry. So, not the movie. TV show. Nobody knows what he's talking about. The doll moved. Like, what do you mean? I find it funny how, again, people are like, oh, the doll moved. The drawer was open. Things were looked through. And he's simply like, oh, well, it must be somebody messing with me. Huh? Oh, I said, okay, we're doing this. And I said, that's fine. I get it. But I'm thinking to myself, it's the White House. Wouldn't he be more? But then again, they wrote him as an open kind of guy. And that's how he got the position. And he's really not a full, I don't take him seriously as a president, just even from this first episode. He seems to be someone who got the position, who's likable, but sort of got there and is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's kind of this character for him. He's very, I won. Oh no. Oh no. Oh shit. Ah, we weren't supposed to win. Okay, so now that we won, let's do what we think we need to do. So what do you think we need to do? Everybody suggestions, because he's always asking the people around him what the stuff, right? And I think that's why the vice president who is underneath him does not admire him as much, because he was just trying to be on the board for something, maybe get a little money through the fundraising that was happening, and ends up in this position and is now like, oh, he's not doing anything, I should be the president. You are a rude child, Henry. The boy was just asking you a question, Henry. Why were you so upset with no tie on and it buttoned up, giving all kinds of Teddy Ruxpin? We're gonna get to Teddy in a second. His appointed security guard from the White House. But God, he was a little ass right here. You better watch yourself. I have Secret Service. We'll get you. Henry, calm your tits. I was like, what's going on here? It was just rude little boy. Okay, this is me. I was like, okay, so you telling me that doll did all that, and he's not asking any questions to do the writing. some of this, it's fun, and I'm taking it as a show, but I was also like, let's be kind of clear here. Listen, Teddy is the Secret Service agent that's appointed to Henry, and you can tell that Henry has grown fond of him because Teddy is dad himself, and so he's able to talk to Henry in a way that makes him feel a little bit more comforted and protected in a sense. There does seem to be something going on with Henry because he is into morbid things right now, and he also talks about death, as well as, of course, having a killer doll that he has found himself really loving on. Sometimes when I'm next to him, I can hear its heartbeat. Bitch, that what? No one thought about that and asked questions. I would put that doll right to. Let me see something here. Make sure nothing's on. Pull out all the pockets. All right, talk to me, God damn it, or I'll throw you in the fire. I'm giving Child's Play 1 tease, okay? But Teddy is a good man and a good person. He's trying to, of course, help Henry out. His brother seems to not want Teddy to encourage him, which also lets me feel like our first initial intake of who is Joseph. It must be the child or somebody that died or somebody close to this family or something like that, which, of course, Charles Lee Ray would be a perfect person to find out. Okay, like he would be the perfect person to snoop into someone's business and find out about the family and what some dirt on them. Like, I can use this, or he met the child, didn't say his name, asked him what was wrong with him. We're gonna find this out. Because it is a different name, and I want to know what the coincidence is. Now, I love how they skipped Melania in this moment. They only talked about. They said Barbara. What was it? It was Barbara, Michelle, and Hillary. Yeah, I think it was Hillary, Barbara, and Hillary. No, it was, excuse me, Jackie, Barbara, and Michelle. When it came to decorating the White House, I feel like I have that right. I hope I have it right. And of course, it's just a little light moment between them. Ooh, Devin. you are filling out this shirt, sir. You have got to stop, my lord. I was like, President. I'm kidding. Anyways, I was like, uh-oh. Henry comes in there and does a full, I'm scared. Can you go sweep my room, Teddy? Now, if only Henry knew. Ooh, I wonder what was going to happen. Do you think that Chucky would have killed Henry with the knife that he had in his pocket if Henry went in the room first? I mean, he's done it before. Maybe he was going to use it for later. I don't know. Teddy goes in the room and does a sweep for Henry to make sure there's no monsters or ghosts or bad guys in his room. And while he's examining the doll, he recognizes the president's letter opener. When I tell you that was one of the quickest exchanges, I feel this was a CGI moment, which I'm fine with, because it was very quick. But to go from this regular doll face and they keep the eyes going, y'all, and then go switch, and it's like real quick, right? And ooh, this is what I'm talking about with horror movies. Do me a favor, y'all. In these situations, only the sound of what is happening I need to hear. No music, no dun dun dun, none of that. All you heard was click, boom. A breath from Teddy, because he doesn't even register what's happening. He's pulled the knife out. He's looking at the knife. All of a sudden, his gun's been taken, and it's now to his under his chin. Looks down and realizes the doll is holding this gun up to him before it even just fully, boom. Quite a graphic scene, which is why we switched to this, and we're going to change a little bit of the lighting here. All you see is his eyeball slide down a clown painting. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. You barely saw it. That's why we got a lot of puppet work. Thanks. As the doll moves over and puts the gun into his hand, sits down, makes it look like it's, a suey. You know what I'm talking about. I said, oh my God, this is insane. I said, okay, Chucky, that was a smooth one. But, this again adds a little bit more light onto the White House, because with the White House, they had the issues with the power. Now one of the Secret Service members has been shot. It's like, girl, what are you doing? This lax president that y'all have put into the White House is currently dealing with some things here. Just got in there. And we've already had two really big deals go down. So, of course, our reporter friend, not really our friend, we don't know if we like her or not. Maybe she will be helpful. Maybe she won't. She will be snooping further into this because there is more information, as apparently the guy, Teddy, was going to go on a vacation. So it makes no sense why he would want to take himself out when he was going to take his family on a big trip. But that's the thing, though. If even okay, so the thing is, would the fingerprints be on the doll hand by now if he's been in the body long enough, right? Because he shot him and it was with his gun. So the only person who would have drawn that gun at any given time would have been him, right? So it's only his fingerprints were going to be on there. They wouldn't be able to find another Secret Service member unless somebody else grabbed his gun, which we never saw, right? So Henry's upset because Joseph is now stuck in the room and he can't get to him, which, I think for Chucky, he's happy he gets a little alone time. We have this brief moment of, oh, because he's not such a mean Secret Service guy, but I really didn't care. Okay. Things that are unbelievable. So the president and the first lady are hitting a bong. I had to blur it out in this photo. In their bedroom in the White House. Mind you, the son can't smoke in the White House. Bad image, but they're hitting a bong. I was like, okay. Sorry, this was the part where I was just like, what? What? Okay, so they really are lax, and this is further proof that they weren't expecting to get this, but now that they have it, and there's a responsibility, they want to live up to, the expectations, and also feel bad for putting their family into this, but at the same time, feeling bad over what Teddy's going through and the family in the situation. It's interesting, like. So in those moments, Chi-Chi, like when there's no gun residue or blood on the gun handle, but like they found the gun on the scene of the situation or whatever, uh, they would still rule it in what the easiest way is to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, I hear your point, but when there's now no gun residue on his hand, but you're like, but we found it in his hand, and there is no other fingerprints that are on this sort of said item except for say his. What else are they gonna do? Like, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's there? It's let's wrap it up. It's the White House. We have to make this a clean escape. We already look bad in this situation." So, going from these two lovebirds back to Hackensack, we see a tender moment between Buff Jake and Tender Devin, where Lexi just busts through the room, and I don't know if they all live in the same house or where are they? Where are they? Whose house is this? Where Lexi could just roll it through there like that. I was like, did she live there too? What's going on? But no, they get a text message, and it's all ominous, except Devin gets one that just says F you, which was kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But Chucky's telling them that he's back in this, back in the saddle again and get ready for them. And of course, they want to know where he is. And he's like, you only get one hint. Looking at the phone number, realizing it's unknown with all those zeros, taking them a little bit of time. They're still trying to figure out where he is located at. So happy the teacher's back. I'm nervous she's going to get killed this season, though, because she's back and he wants to get a hold of them and he likes to take out, people that are close to the kids. That's his sort of MO, right? But Miss Flores, thank you for the super chat. Do they have a commander, Biden's dog stand, inviting Secret Service members? Haha, happy Sunday, Rant Pack sending love. No, so it wasn't the president's dog. It was like a Secret Service dog that was supposed to be there to guard the family. So we haven't seen them with an actual, the president's dog just yet. That happens. But thank you again for the super chat. Appreciate this. The teacher is there to try to help these kids. Apparently, they're being homeschooled because a lot's happened, and they're kind of undereducated, and they need to, of course, be put back on track. So she's there to help them with that. Meanwhile, they're having a funeral for Teddy, and Chucky is just sitting there just looking at the whole thing, and that's a cold-blooded person. I mean, he already is, but just imagine you killed this man, and now you're sitting there in a doll's body, just staring at the situation. Like, oh, everyone's crying. Where? Oof, horrible. Again, she's going to be a problem, but probably a good problem depending on what she finds out. Because what if what happens with her? What if what happens with her has something to do with Tiffany? Because reminder, they're going to be looking for information on stuff and she's going to be snooping around for things. And what if Chucky or something Charles Lee Ray gets pulled into the situation? Then Tiffany gets pulled into this and she's like, well, the son has a good guy doll. Boom. Tiffany's like, really? Is that what's up? Well, you should know something about that doll. There's things happening in the White House. That's probably what's happening. You should look into that doll. Yeah. You know how Tiffany is. I'm not sure because Tiffany was arrested this last season, and they do show her in the trailer for the 4 episodes we're gonna get, but I'm not sure how much we'll see of her. I don't think she'll make it though. As the kids are getting a higher education, they notice that Chucky is on the television screen after the funeral for the Secret Service agent and realize that the phone number that Chucky called them from was attached to the White House. I don't even know where they're at. But now they must make it to DC. And depending on how much sense it makes for them to get there, maybe no, they're actually in nope, never mind, because they're in Hackensack, New Jersey. So how far would that be from DC? I want to see how they make it there. I have to see how they make it there. 'Cause I just thought about that. How is that going to make some sense? We'll see. I'm sure they'll make a way, but um now they know where Chucky is and they know they need to kill him because if he's there and he's in the White House, then they already know it's going to get bad. Because if Chucky's in there, imagine him having access to codes or getting in like one of the secret rooms where like a war room or something like just somehow got in there, killed everybody in the room. And just did it for shits and giggles because that's something he would do. But yes, that's the first episode in a little bit of a 45, 46-minute nutshell. What are Chucky's plans? How will he get to the kids? Will the kids get to Chucky? What's going to happen to Henry? How about the White House family? What is going on with them? Where is Tiffany at? And if anything going to happen with her in jail, will she be bailed out? How about Glenda? Will we see them this season? I know that this filming was paused due to the writer's strike, so we may have to wait a little while for the other half of that. But I'm certainly going to cover this. I will be also reacting to it on Patreon, so make sure you tune in for that. I know it's a light review, and I appreciate for those. I appreciate all of you who tuned in today to watch this today. I had a good time with you. But yeah, that's Chucky, season 3, episode 1. I love how he does something different with the title each and every episode. Gave the American flag, of course, to set this up. So I'm excited. You felt like the episode dragged when Devin, Jake, and Lexi was on screen. I think because we already know their story so much that for me, like I wasn't really particularly interested in the social media aspect of their lives and going on and all that kind of jazz. I really didn't care. But I also was like, oh, well, they're still looking for him and they're using this as a platform to do so. But if by doing so, does that mean that a lot more people know that the doll is alive or that they just are looking for it or her sister? And, if she's looking for her sister, why isn't that like a bigger deal? Because her mom died. That's where my brain is at with that one. You know what I mean? And where do they live? I know it's not with teachers, so I need some explanations on that. Will Andy and Kyle be involved this season? I have many questions. But I did prefer the White House centered storyline because it felt like we had some new characters involved, and I wanted to see whatever Chucky was doing. Anytime Chucky was on screen, it was a win. I was like, okay, something's happening. Let's focus. But yeah, I like this. I would, if we give it a grade, like from A's to F, it's definitely going to be a B plus for me. Some things they could have changed up a little bit. In my opinion, I would have preferred multiple kill counts, but I was okay with the kaboom and the shock of that because I was gagged. Go see my reaction on Patreon. I'm surprised I was. I was like, oh, we're doing it that like that quickly. Craziness. Listen, hit that like button before you walk out this door. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up today. Just a reminder to let you know I am definitely a huge Chucky fan as I have the ruler from Child's Play 2. I have that ruler from Child's Play 2. You've been very, very naughty. This is Winkler. And he's coming out the closet. That is one of the craziest scenes to me. Can you imagine being stabbed with an air pump? Swoosh. Mind you, could have killed her right then and there because he pumped her full of air. And it's possible if it got into her lungs and with that pump, that could have been a whole situation, right? But she can't even speak. And this dog comes out and is clowning, slapping the ruler. You've been very, very naughty, Miss Winkler. She's crawling away and he's just, yeah, one of my favorite scenes. And all you see is the ruler. with the music. Whack, 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 whack. Angie's running away. I said, whoa. Listen, looked into the peephole and that eye came out peekaboo. I said, oh, scared the shit out of me as a child. I was like, oh my God. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah. So 4 episodes of this, which actually could be really good for me since there is going to be another show that's going to be announced in the Drag Race universe soon. I'm going to be very excited to talk about, as well as the Villains show starting. Very excited for this. I'm caught up on Survivor. I don't hate Emily as much as I used to anymore. I hated her the first episode. I'm cool with her now. I'm caught up on Big Brother. I hate what they're doing to my girl Siri. What else did I watch recently that I wanted to make? I got tickets for The Exorcist tonight. So I'll be seeing The Exorcist Believer. I'm hoping it's not bad. I don't have high hopes. Some of the reviews were not in favor, but I will be watching that tonight. So hopefully that will be pretty good and not sucky. we're gonna pray. But yeah. So I'm gonna have a good day. Tomorrow I'll be taking a break. There will be no videos tomorrow, but Tuesday I'll be back for Baddies East. So tune in for that. And then of course the following Sunday, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday we'll be back with the panel. So tune in for that as well. It's gonna be a good time. Yep. Yeah, the new Rick and Morty season. Is that tonight? I thought it was next week. If it's tonight, work. I thought it was next week. I need to go ahead and set my DVR then because I heard the new voice was interesting. We'll see. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Drop a tip in my jar if you feel like it. Hit that like button before you walk out that door. Have yourselves a wonderful, great, awesome day. Make sure you catch out Chucky. First episode's on YouTube. And we'll be reviewing this weekly here on my channel. So I'll see you for the next one. Bye, everybody.